I'm Merritt Alcorn. I'm a former board member of Madison School Corporation. And first matter is I have with me affidavits to distribute to the board members. If I may approach, I will distribute those.
Mayor, would you please tell us how this relates to the agenda?
I'm speaking on, I think, the item of the architect. Isn't that the item I put down? I think it's 1719, is that correct?
Thank you.
And how the concern that I have as it relates to moving forward with the Anderson project is as follows. First of all, I cite your attention to maintenance in your policy manual at 7410, which in essence says the superintendent shall develop and promulgate to the maintenance department such guidelines as are necessary for the ongoing maintenance and good order of the physical plant and for expeditious repair of conditions which threaten the safety of the occupants or the integrity of the plant. So that is your school board policy as stated. However, as you will find in the affidavits presented to you, your maintenance employees now state, and some of those employees or former employees under oath state that for the past 3.5 years, it has been the stated intended policy of the school administration to sabotage Muncie schools while our children were attending those school in that building. The stated purpose of this sabotage, according to the affidavits, was to close Muncie School and create this building project, the Anderson project. So I want to just restate that again. 3.5 years ago, that was the stated policy of your administration, contrary to your policy. So the decision, I believe, to move forward with the Anderson policy project is based upon dishonesty, and it should not move forward. I don't believe that you revoked that policy and allowed the Anderson or the Muncie building to fall into disrepair during the time that you had students in that building. I don't believe that's the board's wish or desire. But that was the intent and the policy, or the intended scheme that was carried out by your administration. The maintenance at Madison School Corporation has been mired in controversy for a long time. It is a systemic problem. The corporation has a system problem with its maintenance. And I want to go back to what your policy is. Your superintendent is responsible for promulgating the guidelines for this maintenance. In the summer of 2016, the chiller at the junior high school was condemned. And I'm sure that you guys, you're aware of that fact. The new chiller, at least as of your client in the affidavit, is telling you that as of February the 21st, the new chiller was not operational. So, I don't know the status of your chiller. My question to you tonight is, do you know the status of your chiller? Is it operational tonight? Have you been told by your administration what the status of your chiller is? And if you have not been told by the administration the status of your chiller, then why have you not been told that? The public has not been told that, and yet our children are attending school in that building. The chiller system in the junior high school is intended to operate with 2 chillers, alternating. It has been operating with 1 chiller since this past summer. That chiller that is operational, I believe, was installed in 1999. IC 52283 and your purchasing policy, which can be found at 6320 of your policy statement, requires the following. Number 1, it requires an invitation of 3 quotes of persons known to be dealing with the equipment to be bid. Secondly, those invitations shall be mailed at least 7 days before the time fixed for the receiving of the quotes. There was no time fixed for the receiving of the quotes of the chiller. There were no invitations that went out. The job was awarded, and according to your maintenance employees, collusion was involved in that award. The maintenance department employees additionally have stated under oath that they did work for the contractor that you awarded that job to. In other words, that person comes in and makes a bid and said, okay, we're going to do this job. But what happened in this case was your maintenance department went over and did some of the chiller work that the contractor was supposed to do. In addition to that, you may want to look carefully at whether or not you actually paid the shipping cost of that chiller. I don't know for sure, but I think that you may have paid the invoice for that. There may have been other expenses that you paid. There are other accusations by the affiant in the affidavits regarding the installation of the chiller that you need to look at carefully. Continuing as it relates to your systemic maintenance problem that should cause you to stop immediately the Anderson project, Indiana Code 52281, parentheses small b, states that purchases cannot be artificially divided to avoid the $50,000 limit. Now, what that statute is referring to is that if it's anticipated that a bid will, or that a quote will fall between $50,000 and $150,000, then you must go to this quoting procedure. If you stay under the $50,000, then I think it is unclear as to what procedure you would follow, but you're not required to follow the quoting procedure. So one hole that I would point out, Jason, in your policy is that there is, I could not find anything for a policy that the quoting or bidding is supposed to follow between $25,000 and $50,000. That's just simply apparently a hole. I don't think there was anything intended by that, but I want to get back to what was intended. This is exactly what happened. This is exactly what this school corporation did. Your operational director, by a memo to this board on September the 26th, 2016, requested approval for a quote for the replacement of 5 HVAC units, rooftop units at the high school. On October the 5th, 2016, at the board meeting, based on a recommendation from the superintendent and motion, you approved the purchase of HVAC units at the Madison Consolidated High School. I'm quoting that directly from your minutes. Also, your minutes reflect 2 numbers. One for $35,775 and the other for $23,728. Those are in your minutes. It's all in 1 minute. So you're approving it as one item There's no question that it's one project, which is the replacement of HVAC units at the high school, and yet you broke it into two quotes for a total of $59,503. So you were above the $50,000 limit, which is required by IC 522.81B and says that you cannot do what you just did in your minutes. The superintendent could not make the recommendation. The operational director should not have sent the memo, and yet it passed anyway. Your minutes reflect that this was a separate amount, contrary to the Indiana state statutes and contrary to the law that you took an oath to uphold. And I want to add that by all appearances, this bid of $59,503 was approximately 13% higher than a competitor would have quoted if the competitor had been asked. So it's like the chiller problem. I want to continue on here. This is a systemic situation. And it takes way more than 20 minutes to explain all this. But like the chiller situation, which has another story to it that I really can't dive into because of the detail, this story also has another aspect to it. And it involves the sizing and the installation of these rooftop units at the high school that relate directly to the health of our children in that building. So I do not see how you can move forward with the Anderson project with this information that has now been given to you. You have a systemic problem in your maintenance. And the people, first of all, you need to withdraw the Anderson project. And secondly, the people that are responsible for this system that is in place, that is not working, that is filled with dishonesty, corruption, and schemes, they need to go.
Amen.
And you need to seriously search your own hearts about whether or not, I don't want to say all of you, because I know some of you work very hard to get to the bottom of this, but some of you need to search as to whether or not you should continue in your present positions on the board.